What could you do to protect your pets if you're sick or injured? My product, Save My Pet ID tag, helps you ensure that your beloved pets are safe and well cared for, even when life isn't what you expect.
Paws up, pet pals. Welcome to Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life show. I'm not your host, Arden Moore, but my name is Barbara Lean. And for this special episode, I will be your stand-in host because our guest is, yes, Arden Moore. Arden just returned from a special sponsored trip to help pets in England. So pet pals, you're in for a jolly good time as Arden will share highlights from bringing out the best in pets who live in England. And welcome to your show, Arden.
Well, Barbara, this is certainly a first being the guest of my own show, but I am so appreciative of you being my stand-in host because you can hit me with some questions. And yes, pet pals, Arden Moore from Dallas, Texas, went across the pond on a sponsored trip thanks to a nonprofit group called Let's Be Smart. It stands for Successfully Managing Animal Rights Today. And it was actually a 2-week trip, but this episode is devoted to the time I spent teaching behavior and first aid in England, specifically Newcastle upon Tyne. That sounds so regal, doesn't it, Barbara?
Yes, it does.
Newcastle upon Tyne, and a little town called Wallsend, and they are where there is a place called the Bad Cat Cafe. And I got to hang out there and help with the co-owners, Tasman Hurst and Roxy Scott.
So, Arden, how did this trip come about?
Well, Let's Be Smart is a nonprofit group run by a woman from New York named Julie Kelly, and she has a big heart for cats and dogs in need all over the globe. And she reached out to me and she said, we think we really would love you to come and help out people helping cats and dogs in England and in Greece. And it was a trip of a lifetime, Barbara. So I walked
It sounds like it.
I walked into what do you think of the name Bad Cat Cafe?
Well, that was one of my questions is what is the Bad Cat Cafe like?
Actually, it's not nasty. It's very friendly cats. In England, Brits call cats that are a mixed heritage Mogies. Isn't that fun? What a name, Mogies. Here, Mogi. And there was a black and a white cat named Monkey. Okay. And who's I found out is best friends with other cats there, Midge and Mojo. So there's 3 M's. Then there is a tortie named Dolores there, who is a bit shy, but she loves cats, especially Draco. So I'm just wondering, Barbara, if they go by the M's and the D's to be friends at the Bad Cat Cafe. I don't know.
So where is this Bad Cat Cafe? Where's it located? And I know you met all these cats. So what are their personalities like there?
Yeah, some are shy, some are very outgoing. Oh, it's you, Arden. Come here, give me a paw. I want to give you a hi. And other cats kind of peeking around going, let me smell this chick. Let me see if she's safe. And then they would come out. But it's in a little town outside of Newcastle. And Newcastle's is northeast of London. And Wallsend is not really on the map in big letters. And it's next to a city hall on a corner. And it's an old building. And it's very home-like, which is helping these cats that have been rescued off the streets get acclimated and socialized. And these 2 women, Tasman and Roxy, they've been doing it for about a year. And guess what, Barbara? They have helped adopt 80 cats already, find homes all over the world.
So you could kind of go there and hang out with the cats.
Absolutely. You have to, make a reservation because they don't want 7 million people in. And one thing I wanted to share with you is these kitties love to play. And I just have a short clip here I'm going to play, and it's with a wand toy I had playing with Midge. So everybody listen or take a look. Here we go. I'm here in England at the Bad Cat Cafe. And which one is this one? Who is this cutie pie?
That is Midge.
Midge, you're on TikTok. What? And Facebook, whatever that means. But a couple of great people, Tasman and Roxy, run this Bad Cat Cafe. So if you're in this area, please come and support them. They have some pretty cool cats. So that was just a short clip, Barbara, just to give you an idea of what these cats look like from England inside the Bad Cat Cafe.
Yeah. So you were there, Arden, and I hear that you gave some classes while you were there. What did you teach while you were at the Bad Cat Cafe? I just like saying that.
I do too. We taught people how to be good to cats. And that is involving helping people understand how cats think. And we also address dog behavior. So some of these people have cats and dogs that came to attend. So we did some behavior classes. And as people may know, I am a master certified pet first aid instructor. My company is called Pet First Aid for You. And I'm also the director of education for Pro Pet Hero. And I do a 2-day intensive instructor training program for people to become pet first aid instructors through Pro Pet Hero. So it was kind of nice. It's universal. That's what I'm finding, Barbara, that people want to know, how can we keep our cats safe and our dogs? So you know my signature, right, Barbara? Paws up, right?
Right.
I made the Brits say paws up. What do you think?
It sounds a little bit different, but it's the same,
it does.
right?
It sounds much better, actually. But what I want to share with you now is just a little clip that you can either see or hear. And it's one of the groups that just completed my behavior class. And they had a little special message to tell people all over the world. And so here, let's take a listen. Amazing Englanders, Brits. Hi, guys. Woo! So we learned about cats and dogs. Was there something you learned that was surprising about cats? Anybody want to throw out something here? Not throw up, throw out.
Yeah, the whiskers on the feet.
Oh, yes, there are whiskers on the feet. What about dogs? Is there something you learned about dogs? Who's my dog people? Come on. Or reaffirmed. Come on, you two were pretty good.
But dogs like to do the little play bow.
The play bow, that's right. So we're so glad that you're here. We're so glad that you have cats and dogs. And when I sign off, what do I say? All right. What'd you think? Pretty good, huh?
Oh, that's terrific. And, Arden, I want to throw in one more question here because you talked about behavior classes and you have a couple of books on behavior too, right?
Yeah, I've written 20 plus books. My latest are called the Cat Behavior Answer Book and the Dog Behavior Answer Book. And they're available on Amazon. And I was so stoked because my publisher, Story Publishing, actually did photo shoots, and one of the pets on animals on each cover, there's like 6 cats on one and 6 dogs on the other. Actually got pet safety dog Kona and pet safety cat Casey are on the cover. That's pretty special.
Oh, that does sound special. So we want to point people in the direction of your books because they are so helpful when it comes to behavior for both cats and dogs. But, tell us a little bit about Newcastle upon Tyne, that you were there and, what is that known for?
Well, you guys know the weather there, it's usually foggy, a little cold, and sometimes drizzly. And guess what? Newcastle didn't disappoint for me. It's a very old city. I mean, I live in Dallas and we live in the United States and we're thinking something 200 years old is old. No, we're talking, let's move the clock, tick, 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 tick back. Newcastle is on the Tyne River, that's Tyne, and they have a lot of bridges. And I had one day to be a tourista and I just put on my best walking shoes, Barbara, and I walked one bridge across to the other bridge, to this other bridge. I'm looking and going, why are people driving the wrong way?
Did you get lost, Arden?
Actually, surprisingly, no. I don't know. My inner GPS kicked in. For many years, I was a newspaper reporter for daily papers, and I always had to be put in some strange place in the day before, our nice little devices, and I had to find my way around. So I think I have a good navigation.
You have an internal GPS, right?
Yeah, in fact, I got my way around Newcastle so well. that when our hosts, Tasman and Roxy, were trying to tell the sponsor, Julie and I, how to walk a few blocks back to our hotel, they started telling us to go in one direction. And I said, well, actually, we really need to go on this street and then turn right and then turn left on this street. And there's our hotel. And they both looked dumbfounded at me and they said, she's right.
Thank you, Arden.
So what I wanted to do is just to give you a view. It's a beautiful old city. And here is a little clip that I narrate that talks about a little bit of a vista view, if you would, about Newcastle. Hey, everybody. I am here in Newcastle in England, and that is the Keep Castle, built in 10,080. It's a little bit older than me. And check out the River Tyne and the bridge. This is pretty amazing. And I'm walking down this big interior pedestrian bridge. Wow. Gorgeous.
Arden, your trip sounds amazing. You know, your classes, your adventures, and you went to the castle at Newcastle. So I'd like to hear a little bit about that.
It was kind of cool, Barbara, because from my third level hotel room, if I craned my neck to the right and looked down and maybe even squinted, I saw the castle from my window. That's pretty neat.
Wow.
So it was only about 2 blocks away from where I was staying. But this castle is actually called Keep Castle, Keep. And are you ready for it? It's built in 1080, well before you and I were born.
Wow.
And it started out as this,
That's amazing.
yeah, typical like medieval fortress. And it came to become a symbol of like British royal power. Because, you know, back in the day, they kind of ruled the world, you know. I found out while I was taking the tour that it served as a prison at one time and as a church. Now, that's opposites, right?
Right.
You're going to hell, and we're going to get you back and save you from going to hell.
Save you,
I
right.
don't know. Apologies to all you religious, knowledgeable people. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. There was a section in the basement area of this Keep Castle. And at one time, it was a chapel and a place of worship for the Normans. Remember the Normans we kind of read in our history books way back when, Barbara?
Right.
Then about 1590, the chapel then transforms into a refugee for thieves and vagabonds. Don't ask me now. They didn't get
rounded.
yeah, it's getting a lot of different kinds of people coming to the Keep Castle. And then I've discovered that in the late 1700s, the chapel actually, this is my favorite, transformed into a pub, and it was called the Three Bulls Head Pub. I think I'll toast to that.
You know, that's kind of going full circle, right?
Yes. You got to get religion, you kind of get in trouble, and then you celebrate that you're a better person.
Exactly.
More inside the Keep Castle and the other parts of the city. There, you know, it's got a mix of very old and very new. So you could buy the latest jeans at this upscale store, and then you turn around, look, and you see a monastery that's, you know, built, you know, centuries before. And that's pretty fascinating to me after coming from the United States. There's so much history, and they don't like you to throw your chewed gum on the sidewalk. And so they have these signs above the little waste baskets, and they say, bin your gum, bin your gum, B-I-N. What do you think of that?
Keeping everybody responsible. You know, the trips like this are so much fun to take because you have the old with the new and all of the different nuances. And I'm just curious, when you were in Newcastle, did you see many dogs there?
Yeah. And they're all different sizes and pedigrees. When I was doing my I felt like Forrest Gump, doing my long walk all over one castle, one bridge, da 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 da, going to the other bridge, da 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 da, next bridge, and I could kind of have a bearing of where the hotel was. I never took an Uber. I think I walked like 10 miles that day, but every step was worth it because I swear almost every block I would run into a dog. And
Well, you had good shoes then, right?
oh yeah. Yeah, I make sure of that. But, I don't know about you, but when you're on a vacation or something, when you see a happy dog, it's universal. It doesn't matter. I don't even know if they have a British bark. They were so well mannered. But these dogs and these people, they walk everywhere. I will say the Brits really walk a lot, and they use the metro and the train station and things like that. But the dogs, if they're well mannered, and most of the ones I met were, they get to eat outside in these
Right.
little pubs. No one thinks anything of a dog sitting under a table. And, it's kind of refreshing. I did go to London the year before, and I went to Kensington Palace. And there were dogs where Princess Di walked around at one point, and
Right.
they were off leash in the big green areas, and there were ducks walking by, and I'm like, oh, that's not going to be good. And you know what?
They're so well behaved.
The dog owner just went, here, or I'm sorry, Cheerio, come here. And the dog's like, and trotted right to him. So they're used to being in high populated areas, and dogs get a lot of walks. And even though their flats may be very small, they have so much area to explore with their pet people on leashes. So I really did enjoy the chance to see some. I never saw a cat on a leash though. I was kind of disappointed. Not yet.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
waiting for that. See some of those high-end leashes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it is interesting because when you take a trip like that, and being the pet lover that you are, Arden, your antenna had to be up, and noticing the pets and how people interact with their pets, and how universal it is. It has to be a lot of fun for you.
Oh, it was. And again, I don't know about all of you, but in my background, I spent many years as a daily newspaper reporter. Then I worked at a publishing house. And then I got immersed in pet behavior. I was the editor at Catnip through Tufts University. And I got to be mentored by amazing people like Dr. Nicholas Dodman and Alice Moon Finelli. And then, of course, Dr. Marty Becker, who founded Fear Free Pets. So each part of my journey, I've been lucky to learn from the very best. And my goal now is to be a student and a teacher. And what can I do? But when I taught my classes in England, it's not a lecture. It isn't me slapping a bunch of things about cats and dogs. It's trying to have that aha moment, if you would, for a person like, so that's why my cat's on top of the refrigerator.
Right.
They're not being disrespectful, but a cat is both a hunter and a hunted, a prey and a predator. And you're in a place, and there may be a big dog in the house too. And if you want to take a nap and not have to keep one eye open, why not nap on top of a refrigerator that the dog can't get up to? So,
Right.
it's just when we take that pause, and like you said in my books, the behavior books, it's a Q&A format. And my goal is to help people have a better connection with their pets. Because if you can connect with your dog, your cat, you be the benevolent leader, the relationship on both ends blossoms. I have 2 dogs and 4 cats shared with my spouse, and each one has their own personality. And I think, we can communicate. So one of the talks at the Bad Cat Cafe was talking about we need to, what that coffee mug says, wag more, bark less.
Right.
We need to stop yapping, because our pets are telling us, giving us good information about how they feel. They're sentient beings. They do feel joy. They do feel fear. They do feel excitement. They do feel sadness. And they're very better consistent than we are.
That's why we love them so much, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think cats and dogs have to be multilingual to be
Right.
in homes. They have to speak cat, dog, English, and body language. And that's some of the things I was trying to bring out in my classes. And the coolest thing is, I am still now friends with Tasman and Roxy. We'll talk about how people can help them out. But some of the students in my classes are now following me, and we're buddies, or should I say chums? Is that right for Brits? I don't know. And on my Facebook page, what do you think?
Yeah, that's great. I think that's great. So, in regards to this trip, Arden, going to England and doing the classes and talking about your books and all the special things that you have for people to learn, is there anything else that you want to tell us about your trip to England?
I will say, if you have to travel a long distance, I know finances is a big deal. I flew premium economy, which means you get the mask, you get the socks, you get the little toothbrush, you get a little TV, you have a little more elbow room than if you're just flying economy. And as much as you want to maybe have a jolly good time drinking a lot of wine or something, drink lots of water on the flight, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And I flew in the afternoon from DFW, Dallas, and I got finally into Newcastle through Heathrow, London Heathrow, at about 11 a.m. the next day. Here's the kicker. Tell yourself right now out loud, it is 11 a.m. Thursday. Don't let your mind go back and stay up until 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
That's really good advice.
You'll have the best sleep. And make sure your watch and your phone automatically switch to the current time. That's number one. Number two, always have water with you.
Right.
Number three, have one of those little, not a purse, but a little pouch that fits across your shoulder, and it parks in front of I'm left-handed, so it parks in front of my right hip. So everything that is of necessary, there's nothing in my pockets, nothing in my back pockets to be picked. And it's got the little screen, so it keeps people from reading your cards.
Yes.
A lot of people there are more about the credit cards. And I will tell you that work with your bank ahead of time. Let them know you're going to be there. Have some sort of an alert system. And for your phone, whatever provider you get, I did I think it was for $100 for my trip. I had unlimited talking and texting.
Yeah, that's worth
for
it.
a certain period of time. And take photos of your passport and your driver's license. Just in case they go missing, you have them on your phone, but also on Google Drive. So if you have the trifecta of lost phone, lost passport, lost wallet,
you're in trouble.
Some way you can go on Google and reclaim some of your identification.
Those are great travel tips. A lot of times people don't think of those things ahead of time, and I think it's really smart, to plan ahead. I want to back up a little bit and ask you about the Bad Cat Cafe. How can people support that cafe, or can we support it from here?
Yes, absolutely. They are a nonprofit, so you can make donations. And definitely, if you're going to be in that neck of the woods in England, see if you can book ahead of time to have a visit. They serve you really good tea, and you get to hang out with cats.
Oh.
These two people, Tasman and Roxy, are pretty soft-spoken, which are like cat magnets. Cats love that kind of personality. And you can tell they have a big heart. They actually have a certain time and day each week where they allow people that may be on the spectrum or have autism, and they just let just those folks be able to come in and not be impacted by other people and chatter. And
That's so
they
important.
get to be able to spend time. They have cat birthday parties there. What do you think of that?
Oh, that sounds like fun.
And so if you want to help them out, it is https / you know the drill, thebadcatcafe.co.uk. So the badcatcafe.co.uk, and tell them Arden sent you.
Yeah, so you could go there and check out the Bad Cat Cafe and maybe help them out a little bit if you so choose to do so. But Arden, what was the biggest thing you took from your trip?
The biggest thing I took from my trip is that cats, dogs do a body good, and it's not limited to a certain geography. Worldwide, we humans are much better when we give ourselves the chance to see the magic that cats and dogs can do to our outlook on life, our physical health. And it's kind of these two gals, Tasman and Roxy, they're gutsy broads. They both had very secure jobs in the social care industry, but their heart was beating cat, and it took them a lot. And there are different kinds of cat cafes all over the world, and each one has a little different mission. But what I really loved about theirs was they kept it to a workable number of cats, so they don't just have tons of cats all over. The cats are free. They're not in cages. The place is immaculate. And you can tell the cats are getting socialized every day. And they're working with other pet groups and leaders in their towns because people are starting to see the benefits of spaying and neutering. And the cats are being adopted from people all over the world. And in fact, 2 of the cats came from Spain. I don't know how they ended up in England, but I found out that they just got adopted as a pair. So the message is pets do a body good, I think.
So who do you think benefits more, the cats or the people?
I think it's both. Cats are cool. They'll be like, of course it's the humans. We're the best,
Right.
But yeah, cats, they do dig people that understand them.
Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life.
Four-Legged Life.
Make sure to subscribe so you're up to date with all of our Four-Legged Life content.
Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life.